Thank you very much for that. That is a real name, Bertie Jenner. I know we've had some weird names in already, but Bertie Jenner is genuinely my real name. A lot of people don't believe it. They think it must be some sort of stage name that I've made up. It's not. I was born Bertie. I can't help it. There's a lot of nicknames, I'm sure you can imagine, that go with a name like Bertie. I mean, I like it as a name, but there's a lot of nicknames. A lot of ones you've probably thought of already, things like Bertie the Bus, Bertie Bassett, Dirty Bertie, BJ is another one I got quite a lot. But there's a lot of nicknames I liked as well that I wanted to stick. One of my favourites was the Generator. Bertie the Generator Jenner. I thought that's a good nickname for someone like me. Unfortunately, the nickname that I can't seem to get rid of is Genital Berties. The more times I tell this on stage, the more likely it is that nickname is actually going to stick. Dig in my own grave. Another fact about me, I love riddles. If I can, I'd like to share that love of riddles with you guys tonight. We'll start with an easy one, see how it goes. What has a face, a big hand, a little hand, but at the same time is an inanimate object? Say a little louder.
Jeremy Beadle.
Yeah, see there it is, Jeremy Beadle. The thing is, this was a test. This was a test because I've come on stage in front of you. What you need to appreciate is I'm a human. I'm a human being. I'm not. I tell people I do stand-up comedy, they just assume I'm some sort of a joke monkey. And I'm not. You've given the joke answer to that, which you think as a comedy night, he's going to want the joke answer. I don't.
I still feel shame.
Good. The rest of you, thank you for not shouting that out. But he proves my point. He proves my point because in everyday life, I tell people I do stand-up comedy, and they're like, oh, everything he says must be a joke. I get halfway through telling a story, here comes the punchline. It's not sometimes. I just want to share my love of riddles. Now, a perfect example of this was down the pub the other week. I told one of my favourite riddles of all time to a friend of mine. You might have heard it before. Father and a son are in a car accident. The father dies. The son's taken off to hospital, put in the operating theatre. Surgeon comes in, sees the child, says, I can't operate on this child. He's my son. How's it possible? Shout it out.
She's his mother.
Exactly. Well done. You've redeemed yourself.
Tim Cup, mate. Tim Cup.
Exactly. Yeah, well, that's exactly how I learned the riddle, so well done. We'll high five over later. But now, when I told this to my friend, he didn't get it right. And it also became quite clear that he didn't understand it. And the reason I know he didn't understand it is because while we were down the pub, my girlfriend showed up. And as soon as she sat down, he said to her, Bertie told me quite an interesting joke. Not sure that I got it. Let me see what you think. And this is what he said to her. Father and a son are in a car accident. The father dies. The son's taken off to hospital, put in the operating theatre. Surgeon comes in, sees the child, says, I can't operate on this child because I'm a woman. So I'm single now. I'm going to change subjects quite drastically. I want to talk to you guys about Fathers for Justice, if I may. It is quite a drastic jump. But I saw Fathers for Justice for the first time in quite a while. I saw a YouTube video of a Fathers for Justice protest recently. Before I go any further, you all know what Fathers for Justice is, right? Good. So I saw this YouTube video. It's pretty standard Fathers for Justice affair. You had one guy dressed as Batman, one guy dressed as Superman, another guy dressed as Spider-Man, and they were all shouting abuse at this MP. And I realised something when I watched this Fathers for Justice protest. Because it made me think back to every single Fathers for Justice protest I'd ever seen. And the one thing that they always had in common was there was always at least one guy dressed as Batman, or one guy dressed as Superman, or one guy dressed as Spider-Man, or all three of them on the perfect occasions. And this seemed to subliminally completely go against the message of Fathers for Justice. Because as far as I can tell, the one thing that Batman, Superman and Spider-Man have in common is the fact they've all gone on to do amazing things in their lives without dads. This guy fucking loves it. Take it you read a lot of comic books. I'm going to break this down for you guys by superheroes to make sure you're all 100% behind this. So we'll start off with Batman. Look at Batman, right? His parents were shot in front of him. He was raised by a butler. But despite this, he still went on to run a multi-billion-pound company. At the same time, he's fucking Batman. Pretty impressive, right? You look at Superman, okay, grew up on a dying planet. His dad built him a spaceship, sent him off to Earth. In fact, he was able to build a spaceship that could automatically carry babies between planets but not make it big enough for the entire family. It's something we've got to gloss over. Because the bottom line is, on an alien planet without his dad, he still went on to become a reputable journalist at one of the largest newspapers in all of North America. And at the same time, he was fucking Superman. Again, impressive. Now you look at Spider-Man, right? Look, I don't know what happened to Spider-Man's parents. When I picked up the movies, they were already dead. But despite this, he was still a straight-A student in school. He got into one of the best universities in America without any financial support whatsoever. And at the same time, he was fucking Kirsten Dunst. Pretty impressive. I think that's... It deserves a clap, thank you. I appreciate it. Were you the guy earlier who for every joke was doing that? So I just thought that's better than a clap. It's a rock symbol. But no, I wish they would think about the costumes a little bit more. I mean, the easiest example that they could go for is Darth Vader. So you think about this, the message of Fathers for Justice and what Darth Vader represents. If Darth Vader, aka Anakin Skywalker, had been allowed to raise his kids, there's no way that in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, Luke and Leia would have made out. Fathers for Justice against incest. I'm from Norfolk. I can't argue with that. I live with my brother. We bought a house together. It's not like, I know I've just said, it's not like that. It's not even vaguely like that. It just helped us get on the housing ladder. The sex is completely coincidental. But no, I live with my brother, right? I live with my brother. We have this house together. But I'm 25, he's 28. We've got this house together. And I think it's quite weird because we still play pranks on each other all the time. Like, when we were young, it was fine, like playing pranks, because, I mean, what are you going to do when you're like 5, you know? He would nick my toy, I would spit in a shoe. That's as good as it got. But nowadays, like, we're a little bit older, we've got a bit of money behind us, we've got alcohol allowing us to do things, and we've got a bit of brain capacity to put together mini projects. And it means that things can get out of hand. Quite quickly. A perfect example of this was, my brother absolutely loves microwavable popcorn, right? In its own right, that's fine, not a problem, but he loves microwavable popcorn so much that whenever he makes himself a bag of popcorn, he will not only eat all the popcorn out of it, he will then take the unpopped kernels in the bottom, suck the butter off them, and then just put them on the coffee table, creating this little spittle-covered pyramid. It's just fucking disgusting. He will leave it there for days. He doesn't give a shit. It's his spit, but I can never touch it. Like, so, to show him, like, I thought this is the perfect chance for me to play a prank, like, to show him that he's doing something fundamentally wrong here. So I came up with this elaborate plan to teach him the error of his ways, to show him that microwavable popcorn kernels could ruin anyone's living experience. So what I did, one night when I was drunk, I went into the kitchen and I stuffed every item of food he had with unpopped popcorn. Now the reason this was so good, right? I did this drunk, bear with me. I did this drunk on a Saturday evening, and this is perfect because my brother Dave, every Sunday, cooks us a roast. So Sunday afternoon, right, me and Dave, sitting on the couch watching TV in the living room, he had his chicken in the oven, very quietly, all of a sudden from the kitchen, what do you hear? Ignores it at first, completely ignores it, but then it keeps on getting more and more frequent then. To the point where he has to get up and see what's going on in the kitchen. Half forgetting what I'd drunkenly done the night before, I get up and follow him to the kitchen. And the two of us arrive there just in time to look through the oven window and see his chicken start to ripple. And inflate like a fucking massive balloon. Now, I am no scientist, but I know that chickens have a critical mass. And now, this chicken, expanding very quickly, had almost filled the oven. It was pretty taut. It's not a word I thought I'd usually use for the chicken, but it was a talk chicken. And at this point, two interesting things happen, right? First of all, my brother Dave decides he can save that chicken. So what he does is he bends down, opens the chicken up, opens the oven up, and goes to pull the chicken out. And instinctively, at this point, I reach for a frying pan and cover my face, because I'm thinking, that chicken's going to blow. But the second interesting thing is the fact that Dave's chicken doesn't explode. You see, he went down there so quickly, he forgot to pick up oven gloves. So he thinks he's being smart while he's down there. Instead of going up and getting gloves, he stays down there and tenderly reaches for the tips of the wings. Because he thinks that's going to be the coolest part of the chicken, and starts pulling it towards himself from the tips of the wings. You've got to remember, this is a very taut chicken. So as he's pulling it towards himself, he accidentally pulls outwards. So what this ends up doing is, instead of exploding the chicken, he ruptures the chicken's arsehole. Leaving him literally staring down the barrel of a gun. Because what he's unwittingly created is a popcorn and chicken-based machine gun, which proceeds to fire short, sharp bursts of popcorn covered in 400-degree chicken fat directly into his face. This was about 6 months ago. We can joke about it now. He genuinely got burns off the back of this. But I think it's a good story to tell different people. I like telling it to different people. It's funny hearing the different response it gets from different audiences. And I thank you very much, because you seem to quite like it. But I told it the other day, and it got an awful response. Although, to be fair, my dad was coming to terms with the fact that my brother has to wear a mask now. His girlfriend found it hilarious. I say girlfriend, ex. She's not blind. But I try to be supportive of him, right? Because he's got his mask now. And I said to him, like, look, just because you've got a mask doesn't mean that's the end of your love life. You can still get women. I mean, look at Spider-Man. Call back to an earlier joke. It just rounded things off nicely. It wasn't a big laugh, but I think I've tied off all the loose ends, and that's about my time. So I'm going to go. Thank you very much.